Logging into AlphaACT HAZMAT will take you to the Start page. This is the launch point for all the things you'll do with the product. At the heart of the page is the link that lets you initiate the training mode. We'll come back to this later in this module. The tabs along the top of the page take you to other pages. There are the community forums, where you can discuss topics, ask questions, and share ideas about emergency response. There's the Help page, which includes information to help you learn about AlphaACT HAZMAT and get the most out of it. And there's information about AlphaTrack and some of the other things that we're working on. Along the upper right of the Start page, you'll see other links. One takes you to a page where you can review and make changes to your account profile. Another takes you to a page that lets you provide feedback to us about your experience with AlphaACT HAZMAT. And the final link lets you log out of the system. Toward the bottom of the Start page, you'll see the highlights of the discussions going on within the community forums. If you see something that interests you, just click the Community tab at the top of the page, and you can enter the conversational fray by becoming a contributor to the discussions. Along the right side of the page, you'll see the community's scoreboard. It shows information about your use of the system, community activity, and the top scores posted by other users. There's a lot to explore in AlphaACT HAZMAT, and we've tried to anticipate your information needs. So remember to check out the Help tab whenever you have questions. Now let's get back to what AlphaACT HAZMAT is all about: training for crisis decision makers. As I mentioned before, AlphaACT HAZMAT is a scenario-based training solution. It presents you with the facts of a fictional situation involving the release of a hazardous chemical. Then, under the simulated pressure of a ticking clock, it asks you to decide what protective actions you need to take to safeguard those who may be in danger. When you're ready to begin a scenario, click Start Training Mode. Once you do, AlphaACT HAZMAT will show you the list of training scenarios you can choose from. You can scroll through the list to see if there's any scenario titles that interest you, or you can use the tabs at the top of the page to look at scenarios based on their degree of difficulty. You can also search the scenarios based on keywords for things that might interest you. When you do, the system will search not only the title, but the content of the scenario for things that might make a relevant training experience. For example, if you'd like to try a scenario that involves an explosion, you enter the word explosion into the field at the top of the page and click Filter. The system will show the scenarios that include the word explosion in their title or in the scenario description. Once you decide on a scenario to play, click its title. AlphaACT HAZMAT will show you the very limited information about the event you'd get from a dispatcher who asks you to respond to an event. If this doesn't look like a scenario you want to play, the back button will return you to the list of scenarios. If this does look like an interesting scenario, click Start Scenario. With the scenario begun, AlphaACT HAZMAT takes you to a page that provides the kind of follow-up information you'd receive while en route to the event. It also shows a map of the incident scene. To heighten the sense of urgency, the system begins a countdown to your hypothetical arrival at the scene. It gives you 30 seconds to review and digest the information you've received en route before it thrusts you into the next phase of the timed exercise. However, if you find that you're ready to start before that 30-second clock has ticked down to 0, click Arrive. It'll take you to the page for the first step of the decision process, Characterize, which we'll cover in the next module.